Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Joey's Scarf. This is a knitting, crocheting, and yarn podcast. My name is Linda, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Linda Grace, and that's Linda with a Y. Today is June 6, 2019, and I am coming to you from Barnegat, New Jersey. That's along the Jersey Shore. It is a very, very warm day today, and I am in my sunroom. I don't have the air conditioning on because it would just be too loud, so I am glowing here. Today is the 75th anniversary of D-Day. That is the day that the Allied troops came together and landed on the beaches of Normandy in France to help fight the Nazis in World War II. So there is a lot of pomp and circumstance going on today, and it's a very emotional day. I have a few works in progress. I have some finished objects, and I'm going to start off with items from last time I podcast, which was about a little over a month ago, and actually this is episode 35 today. So on episode 34 I had, 3 or 4 works in progress, and I frogged every one of them. Yeah, I was in that kind of a mood. So I don't know if you are keeping track or if you tuned in to episode 34 for the first time and now want to see what I've done. Sorry to disappoint you, but there's a lot of frogging going on here. One of the things I frogged was this eyelet cardigan. And I really, really liked the pattern. I wasn't crazy about the yarn I was using, and I was having a little difficulty following the pattern, which gets me discouraged because I feel like I am not that experienced of a knitter, even though I've been doing it for so many years. I just get frustrated, like I should know more than, I should know how to do this, and I was having a problem. And I really don't know where to turn for help. So I frogged it. Maybe if I might go back to this because I really think it's a cute pattern. We'll see. Okay, item number 2 that I frogged was this one, and it's called the Duchess. And it's got all these fringy things going on here. And the reason that I stopped doing that and pulled it out was because it was just taking forever. And this, I think, calls for worsted weight, and I was trying to do it in fingering weight, so it was just taking too long. I had made one of these previously and I really like it, so again it may be one that I go back to and do it in the worsted weight. And then the last one, I think that's it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think that those are the 2 I pulled out. I think I was talking about doing this road trip scarf. I don't think I started it. I had made a couple of these, and it's still something I'm going to be doing in the future. So those are my frogs. But I did pick up other things to knit on, and that's what I'm going to talk about now, my finished objects. I have a little sock parade that I'm going to show you. I've been on a sock kick lately. I unfortunately don't have the names of the yarns for 2 of the socks. So I'm going to, and I don't think I've shown these before, but if I have, here they are again. Let me put this on sock blockers. So I've been doing some knitting on Christmas socks that I hope to have ready for this Christmas few months away yet. And I'm doing the Christmas box of socks thing. So this first pair, I have a little string hanging here, is for that. And it's just nice Christmas colors. And the red heels. Now I'm just noticing something here, and I don't know what this is. This little hanging thing, and it's attached. So I don't know, I'll have to turn the sock inside out to find out if I can pull it out or not. Yeah, so that's one of my first finished object socks, and all of these socks I do the same way. Just a plain sock with an afterthought heel. These I made a little longer in the leg, and I think I'm gonna really like these. I start off with 56 stitches. I do these on with the magic loop method, and I'm doing a 2x2 rib. I do them one at a time. I don't know if I said that. But I start off with 56 stitches, and then when I get to the leg and the foot, I increase to 60 stitches because I need a little bit more here, and I like these to be the ribbing to be a little, the cuff to be a little snug. So that's my pattern, or that's how I do the socks. So that's one pair. Okay. And then I decided to do a shorty pair, and these are from either minis that I had or leftover sock yarn from another project. So again, this is a really pretty yarn. I wish I knew what yarn it was because I really like it. But these are the shorties, and the yarn is really pretty, springy. I think I'm going to be making a few more pair of the shorties for the springtime, for the summer, because I wear socks all the time, whether it's warm out or not. I don't wear them outside, but if I'm in the house in the air conditioning, I like to wear socks. So again, same kind of deal with the afterthought heel. And I made these a little longer than I normally would do with shorty socks. Normally I do the cuff and then immediately put in the afterthought heel, but I wanted a little bit more room up here so that they don't fall off my foot. That's really pretty yarn. I like it a lot. I think it was from a mini set from I don't know where. And then I have these. These are really cool too. This yarn I'm pretty sure is from Evil Little Goat, and I don't know if that person is still dyeing yarn, but this is that yarn I think I got from Evil Little Goat, pretty sure. Yeah. This is a really cool pair. I like these a lot. That yarn is cool with the yellow. And the yellow, the yellow cuff and heel is probably from a set of minis that I got. And that's there. So I've been busy. 3 pair of socks since last time. And I'm happy with them. And now, I did make a pair of socks for Ross. I have made him socks before. He's got 2 pair of socks that I've made for him. And he likes them and he wears them, so he gets another pair. This sock blocker is a little too small for his socks, but this yarn, I do know what the name of it is. This yarn is from Teeny Little Button. I think that's it. I have the label. Okay. And these are his socks. And it does take a little bit longer to do. Socks for Ross, obviously. I don't know what happened here, but anyway. Those are his socks. Show them this way better. Okay, so this is from Teeny Button Studio. And this color is Voodoo Queen. And I do the same thing with his Afterthought heel. They fit him really well. With his, because he's got thin ankles, I start off with a small number here, and then I don't start an increase until I get to the foot, and I make the foot wider because he's got a wide foot. Yeah, so those are 4 pair of socks that I made since last time. And I'm pretty happy with them. There they are. It's a lot of knitting. A lot of knitting. So that's my, oh, and so far, I'm sure I've shown these, but these are what I have so far in my box of Christmas socks. And I'm going to be adding these to it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pair in here so far. It's not too bad. I might be able to get 12 pair done by the end of the year. And I'm sure I'm not going to get 24 pair, but 12 is pretty good. And I have them in my little sock Christmas box that I bought at the end of the Christmas season from Joann's Fabrics. So that's it. It's my sock talk. On to the next thing. Okay, I don't know how you guys feel, but I am ready to jump on the bandwagon a lot of times with different knit-alongs, and I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do everything. So the Yarn Hoarder was doing this washcloth, dishcloth, make 4,000 of them for Christmas. I thought, okay, I can do that. So what I did was I went out and bought all this cotton yarn, and I was going to do that because dishcloths are easy to make and they go quick. But then I thought, what am I going to do with 4,000? Well, not 4,000. I don't know how many she was trying to make by Christmas, but a crazy amount. So I have all this, now I have all this cotton yarn, and I did, like I said, in the beginning I was gung-ho and I did a few of them, and then I got bored with them and decided that maybe even to give them as gifts you know, not everybody likes them. I happen to love these dishcloths out of the cotton, and especially in the pattern that I'm using, because they really work well. It's an environmental advantage too, because they're washable. Use them a couple of times, just throw them in the washing machine and they come out great. And they have that nubby texture, so they clean counters really well. I think they're a nice gift. I don't know if they would be appreciated though. Anyway, I decided one day to dig into my stash of cotton yarn, because it's there, and I've got like, I don't know, 25 or 30 skeins of them, and I decided I was going to start making the dishcloths again. So I picked up this one out of my little pile. Thought these were pretty colors. And I'm using Grandma's old-fashioned dishcloth pattern, which is you start off with 3 stitches and then you increase and then you decrease, and I will put the link below to any of the patterns or yarn that I talk about that I think you might be interested in. So this one is Lily Sugar and Cream. And as I was knitting with it, there was a scent to the yarn, and I thought I must have put this yarn in with one of my scented soaps or something like that. And after a little while, I realized that the yarn is scented. You can see that. And it's lavender, floridy lavender. It's really pretty. It smells really pretty. I don't know that I would like it for a dishcloth, and I'm thinking maybe this would be more of a washcloth. So I made it a little bit bigger than I would for a dishcloth, and I think this is going to be a washcloth, because I really don't know if I would want to wash my dishes with a scented dishcloth. I think I must have picked this up by mistake, because I don't think I would have ever bought a scented yarn. And I think this is the only one, because I looked and I don't think I have any more of them, but it smells really pretty. So that's one of my finished objects. Hey, moving right along. Another one of my finished objects is a shawl. And I will put a picture of me wearing this in, because it's way too hot for me to put this on. But I love the way this came out. This yarn is so soft. And this yarn is from Legacy Fiber Arts. And it's their Cozy Toes, which is 80% merino, 10% nylon, and 10% cashmere. So it's really very soft. And the name of this is Becoming Mother. That's the color. This is all I had left, which makes me happy. And the pattern I used is called the Isobel Shawlette by Haley Wynn. Again, I'll put the link below. I don't think I have a picture of it, but here it is in person. And it's got this detail along the bottom, if you could see it. And that's what I thought was interesting about it. And it's a nice little shawl. And I like the way it came out. And the yarn, again, is very, very soft and pretty. And the color is nice and soft and pretty. It's basically, I think it was a free pattern, actually. Yeah, I don't have it. It's simple, almost like it's a triangle pattern with some detail here. So it was good. I like it. Came out nice. On one of my Instagram stories, I talked about how much I'm accumulating. And I'll put a picture of my shawl stack in here. I'm accumulating shawls. And normally what happens, I start to give them away after a while because I want to make new ones, and I just have too many, and how many can you wear? And I thought about a little guilty about having so much and having so many shawls, and why am I doing this? And I realized that, yes, I like the practicality of knitting, because at the end you have something that you can wear or use. The other thing, though, I realized what I was doing was making a piece of art. I was picking out the colors, and even though I was following someone else's pattern, which is what I have to do, I was making it my own by choosing the colors. And to me, it almost reminded me of those adult coloring books that people were crazy about. I don't know if it's still a fad or not, but someone else drew the picture, and then you got to put your own stamp on it by choosing the colors and making it your own. So that's really part of my knitting process, aside from the fact that it is very calming for me. I occasionally suffer from anxiety, and when I feel the heart pumping and I know when it's coming, I will grab my knitting, and the motion of the needles and the thread running through my fingers starts to calm me down. So it's very therapeutic, which I'm sure everyone knows that about knitting. Yeah, so that's why I figured out, not figured out, but kind of justification for making so many shawls and hats and everything else that I do. Speaking of shawls, my final finished object is another shawl. And I love, love, love the way this came out. And I'm sure, like a lot of people, a lot of knitters, we buy these beautiful skeins of indie dyed yarn, and the colors that attract us, and you know, it's sock yarn. And when I make a sock, I have a lot of it left over. Like this is the teeny button yarn that I made Ross's socks out of. I have all of this left over, which I can easily make another pair of socks, maybe a couple of pair of shorties. So I'm starting to accumulate a bunch of these leftover sock yarns. And I have some minis. So I started making a shawl, just a regular generic triangle shawl. And I started off with a mini, which is, let me show you the shawl. And again, I'm going to put a picture of me wearing this. So I started off with a mini, some leftover sock yarn, another mini, leftover sock yarn, and then leftover sock yarn. And I put this together, and I think it just came out so pretty. The colors I just love them. I'm really happy with this. And again, the shawls are just so soft and nice to wear. But this is, again, just a generic shawl pattern, and I just put my own spin on it with just picking out colors and starting off with this color, and then just finding other colors that I thought would go well with it, and just happened to be lucky enough to find them. So that's my final finished object today. one of the things I'm working on, no, I don't know if you're familiar, but I'm sure you are, with Helen Stewart. And her website is She's Curious Handmade. And she has been doing, I think this is her third or fourth time, she does something called the Secret Shawl Society. And she comes out with, you pre-purchase a group of patterns. I think there are 4, maybe, and she releases them one at a time, every 4 weeks or 6 weeks, something like that. So I decided to jump in. I've done this before. I think I made a couple of them in one of her other Shawl Society projects. But so I'm participating in this one. I don't know how far I'll get, but this is the first shawl that she came out with, and it's called the Sea Gleam Shawl. And that's what I'm working on. And this is how far I've gotten. It's hard to see with this light in the back, but I think I am 30% done. It's one of the nice things about Helen Stewart is her patterns are line by line, and at the end of each row, so each line represents a row, she tells you how many stitches you should wind up with, and you just, it's a good check off thing. So, and she tells you what percentage, how much you have to go, or what percentage you have completed. So I think I have 30% completed here. So that's not too bad. I don't know if you can see the pattern. The yarn I'm using is by Shirsty Cat Designs. And it's this. Really pretty. And this color is called Orchestral. Orchestral. I like Shirsty Cat, I think her name is Kelly's yarns. And this is 75% merino, 25% nylon. Yeah, so that's one of the things I'm working on. And I'm going along. I almost decided to frog this. I don't know if I am a lacy kind of person, but I'm glad I stuck with it because I am enjoying knitting it. And it's the only shawl I have going right now. So that's my one work in progress. Okay, my last work in progress is a meaningful one for me. It's a sock. My usual sock, nothing special about it. The yarn is really pretty. But these are my waiting room socks. And the yarn is Kickaboo Sock by Utopia. And this color is called Tapestry. And the reason that it is special to me right now is because I don't know if, let me start off by saying that I have a blog that I write my post to, and the name of the blog is Linda Grace An Hour Away. And again, I'm going to put all that stuff in the description box. I talk about, I have written about what we're going through right now is Ross has prostate cancer. And hopefully it's the kind, well, not hopefully, I know it's going to be okay. He's going for treatment, which is a good thing that they're able to treat it. But he has to go for radiation treatments every day, 5 days a week, and he has to have 45 treatments, so that's 9 weeks. So while I go with him, and while I'm waiting, I'm working on these socks. And that's why I call them my waiting room socks. And yeah, it's obviously a rough thing to go through, and I think at the end of it, when Ross gets the all clear that everything is good, I think we're going to go away and go on a little trip somewhere, a nice trip. Usually in the summertime, we go to the beach with the kids, and it's a nice time. We spend a week together, and this year we're not able to go. So I think after the treatments are over, which they should be by the end of July, maybe in August, or maybe we'll wait till September, October, when everybody else is not on vacation, to do a little trip somewhere. So that's my little waiting room sock. And that's my story. So I think, well, that's all of my knitting. And yeah, nothing much else is going on. I think we have enough going on in our life right now to keep us busy. And I think Ross would like to come and say hello. And so I'm going to go get him, and I'll be right back. Hi.
Oh, hi. Fancy meeting you here at lunchtime.
Well, you had lunch. I didn't have lunch yet.
Well.
So, I was in the sunroom recording the knitting portion of this, and it's very hot out there.
I couldn't do it. It was too hot for me.
Yeah, that's why we moved inside to the nice, cool, air-conditioned dining room.
Right. I mean, I already made the sacrifice, and I don't know how many of those radium shots I get.
We didn't mention that yet. So,
okay.
One of the things I talked about in my knitting segment was that you have been going for radiation treatments, and why. I told them why you're going, and how are you doing with it?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. I'm about a third of the way to a halfway through the ordeal. Mm-hmm. Everybody I meet says, "Oh, yeah, been there, done that." But everything seems to be going on schedule.
Yes.
There was an initial shock at being told, "Hey, you're not 100%." So we did what we had to do, and I'm in a radiation treatment plan. And that's where it is right now. I'm about almost half complete.
So I also mentioned that we wouldn't be able to go to the beach this year with the kids, but I told everyone that once your treatments are done,
I'll have been radiated from here to Alpha Centauri.
Yes, but I thought it would be nice that once your treatments are done, that we go on a little trip somewhere.
I think that's a very good idea.
Yeah, so I thought maybe September, October, when everybody else is not on vacation.
That sounds good to me.
Now, one of the places that we have available to us is Italy, actually, because my sister has a house. My sister and brother-in-law have a house in Italy, and they spend about 6 months in Italy and 6 months in New Jersey. And the welcome mat is always out. And we've been there. We've been there once with them. They did not have their house at that time, but now they have a nice renovated house up in the mountains. They're in the mountains, right?
It's a beautiful town.
Near Naples. And so maybe that will be our goal.
That sounds good to me. just drop us off with a charge card.
Yeah, really. So anything else going on?
Oh, not really. I got to sneak to the head of the line for radiating.
That's always a good thing. Get in and get out.
Get in and out. Well, that radiation is strong.
I think maybe we can be brief about it. But what happened to us a week ago Friday, tomorrow. We had a little excitement on the way to radiation.
Yeah, there's a little bumper action there. We had a small fender bender. What?
Well, this is where you should be looking, not down.
We had a small fender bender across the street from the radiation treatment center that I go to. And it was a side swipe by a much larger vehicle. Their fault, of course. But there's no fault insurance.
Yeah, we hope.
So we know. So anyhow, I did something that I've never done before, and that's to just accept whatever the insurance company says they're going to do. Because I realized all we needed were 2 phone calls, a signed statement emailed over to the insurance company. They did everything. They did the appraisal, the insurance work, everything. It's a whole new deal.
Luckily no one was hurt. Luckily the car doesn't have, it has a couple $1,000s worth of damage on it. But again, if you want to hear the whole gory story, you can go to my blog, Linda Grayson Hour Away, and read about it. But the upsetting thing to me was the driver of the other car was hysterical. She pulled in next to us and just started screaming at us, screaming. I understand it was an upsetting thing. The issue, the reason that this fender bender thing happened was because the traffic light was out at the turn that we made, and it was chaos, utter chaos there. So that's why the accident happened. It was an accident. Neither one of the cars had, the damage to each car was definitely fixable. That's why we have insurance, and why this woman was hysterical screaming at us. I could understand the shock of being in an accident, but not to the degree of screaming at these 2 old people here.
Well, thanks a lot.
With these 2 white-haired people.
The other driver involved, she started screaming, "Does my husband's going to take my car away from me?"
No, she didn't say that.
Yes, she did.
I didn't hear her say that.
Yes, that's why she was screaming.
Oh, I don't know about that.
She's probably been in accidents before, lots of accidents before.
Well,
anyhow,
she told me the reason that she was upset was because she had a lot of errands to do that day, and she was going to be late for a luncheon with her sister.
No.
And I said to her, "I'm sorry, but we're going to be late to go into that building over there because my husband has cancer and he has to have treatment over there."
I would never personally pull the C card.
No, I think I wanted her, having had people be very ill and having to go through things like with my mother, and especially with my son, it puts things into perspective. When people get upset over things that can be fixed, and to me, there's nothing as bad as all of that. It just puts it into perspective. And I think once I said that to her, she realized.
I realized she needed the double whammy.
Yes, because.
Because she was screaming and hollering.
And what did you say?
And I said to her in the softest voice I could find, "You don't have to yell
No, you didn't even
to be
say
heard."
You said it. You said it much kinder than that. You said, you don't have to yell.
Yes, I did. And she kind of shrank to the size of a small violet.
Yes. By the end, she was apologizing to us.
She was begging us to hug it out.
Yeah, she wanted to hug us, and so again, I understand the shock of being in an accident. I don't know if I would ever react that way unless I don't know, unless I was in, like if you had been hurt or if I had been hurt, perhaps I would have been hysterical, but not for a scratch on the side of a car. But anyway, that was our
minor ruckus.
Yeah, last Friday. So I think that's about it for now, unless you have something else going on. We're going to say that I hope he doesn't hear this, but we have been waiting. Not you, Diego. Not you.
I know.
We have been waiting 3 or 4 years, maybe?
2.5.
2.5 years for our friend Diego.
La 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 la.
Stop. To come and do some work for us. And Diego is the nicest person, and that's why he has too many jobs. So everyone tries to get a hold of Diego to paint and fix this and fix that. So you have to get on a waiting list with Diego. We've been waiting 2.5 years.
Once you get on the waiting list, you have to find out where he is physically,
Right.
and put a ball and chain on his ankle, either one or both.
And today,
he came to us.
He came to us and said, "I'm here. Let's get going." So he's out there working. All right. So those are our plans for the rest of the week.
I'm excited that you didn't tell me about the going to Europe again.
Oh.
Should I learn another language the way I did before?
Well, I don't know if we'll have time for that, but our brother-in-law is from Italy. He's a native, and he speaks the language, so we don't have to worry too much about it.
And he grew up in the house that he owns now.
No, he didn't. His ex-wife did.
Oh, his ex-wife did.
They bought this house from his ex-wife.
He bought his house out from his ex-wife. That's okay.
It laid empty for many, many, many years, and his ex, they have a good relationship with the ex, and she decided she wanted to keep it in the family because she has children with Al, and so that's what they did. All right, so that's enough babbling.
Okay. I'll get back to filling out my schedule that will
Well,
take
don't
me
run
another
away too
hour
long
or
because
two.
we have to say goodbye.
Oh, bye.
Okay, ready?
We can't. Bye-bye.
No, you can't see your hand. You have to do
Bye-bye.
Bye. See you again.
So long.
Bye now. Bye now.
Bye. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.